but I think you got spoiled on Origins.
Mm-hmm.
And so Valhalla was just like I'm just. That's why Starfield came out. Starfield's like a breath of fresh air because now we have something in space, and that's great. Now we have an RPG in space, which that's not really an art. Well, I guess you can.
It's an RPG.
It is an RPG, but I mean it's still a looter shooter in some way.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you go out and shoot stuff and fly around in the spaceship and do things like that. And I have over 100 hours in it, so I could do an honest review of it, and I think it's like a 7 out of a 10.
7.
Like 6.5, 7 out of 10.
That's
I've enjoyed a lot of 7s. So, I mean,
yeah.
Assassin's Creeds were always 7s.
Andromeda, in my opinion, was
7.
an 8.
Yeah.
All the old Need for Speed games
understand.
were 7s. I mean, I played them endlessly.
Yeah.
With Mass Effect 2 being a 10, I think we're all in agreement on that.
Did they? What did it get? It got 9s, I think.
I think it got 9.5, 9.
Well, my book, Mass Effect 2 is a 10.
It's 11. Yeah.
You think it's 11?
It's my favorite game of all time. Yeah.
What?
Mass Effect
I didn't
2
know
is?
that.
All time?
How long
Oh,
have I been
yeah.
around you?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mass Effect 2. Okay, it's 11. Mass Effect 2 is 11.
Like the end of Mass Effect 2 and the beginning of Mass Effect 3, it's just like perfect. Absolute perfect.
Nobody does characters like Bioware.
Yeah.
Nobody.
That
BioWare doesn't
I
even
don't
do it
think-
anymore.
Yeah, BioWare doesn't even do it.
I know,
so,
it's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But nobody does characters like Bioware.
No.
In fact, I think here's what I see with Starfield. I see it like you go out and somebody's building a home and you see a basement being laid and you kind of get an idea of what the house is going to look like, and that's what you see. As I play through Starfield, I'm kind of seeing what they're doing. They've got literally. I played through the story and I become Starborn. I literally see 10 to 15 DLCs they can come out with immediately. They could come out with any direction they can want it to go. You got different factions. You got different. You could do another Freestar UC war, which is going to probably come. And so I see the foundation of it. I don't see it as a finished game. I kind of like Skyrim. I think they're in it for a long haul. And so you're going to see 10, 15 years of them just dripping DLCs out. And then finally, Skyrim, you get to Skyrim right now, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is like the perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Starfield will get there eventually. They got to work the bugs out of it.
And then I will buy it.
Okay.
Here's the thing, though.
That's
Here's the thing, though. If they keep putting all their resources on Starfield, we won't get a Skyrim.
They better stop right now. They better cut everything
There's
off.
no reason for them to do Skyrim. They've already done a 12 gig update on it. And
No. They're
next
building
Skyrim.
6. They're building Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls 6, but it's like another 4 years off, probably.
well,
That-
it is.
Which means it will be 16
Here's
years
my thing,
between
because
the games.
Bethesda's working on something else, are they not? I think they've got another project kind
Is
of
your mic still on?
besides.
Okay, you
Yeah,
turn sideways.
I think they got another project besides Elder Scrolls 6.
I'm sure they do.
So that's the question: how far are they gonna? You know
But
what
these
I
are
mean?
the same people who were doing the ESO online and they still put out Fallout. And I mean, they can still do this stuff. They can
Oh
do
yeah,
more
they
than
put
one
out
game
Fallout. That was a great effort.
Fallout 76 was.
We played it for a month, didn't we? Or
We
whatever.
played it for a month.
tried.
But it's the same old, and that's what I guess I come out of the Fallout thing. I'm just so tired of this apocalyptic crap. I'm just so tired of it. I wanted, and it's funny. I mean, you learn things about space. Like in the future, everybody's super nice, and everybody's super gay. In space, everybody's bisexual. In space,
Well, to a degree, Mass Effect Andromeda started doing that.
they did.
It must be a space thing.
It's just kind of like I guess the more we go into the future, the more these little societal beliefs that we
Understanding
have.
everyone is.
Well, yeah,
we
right
become more
now,
tolerant and all that.
right now we're up to 1 in 5 of our current generation's gay, and when we get that
That's
far
true.
ahead,
When we get that far, it'll
it's-
probably be 5 out of 5.
it's 1 in 2.
It'd be 5 out of 5 apparently.
What's funny is if you just went back there, the dude's actually shooting up New Atlantis, which you can't do that unless you just go nuts. Oh, yeah,
Right.
But the characters in there, the companions are horrible, and so I see that as DLC. They're gonna have to bring in more companions because the ones they have they're terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Morgan's horrible. Andresia is not
See, that's
great
why you need to be a PC player.
because you can bring in mods.
You can bring in mods and people make
I'm
better
actually
ones.
walking around with Marika Boris, who is a side character who's more interesting than all these other people. Even though I do marry Sarah because she's hot, but other than that.
She's hot. She has a nice butt.
And then you got Space Cowboy who's bisexual.
Can you marry him?
You can marry him.
Nice.
I can marry him too.
Wow.
And I'm just kind of like, no, I'm not doing it.
So there's no only straight character.
Because you got a cowboy. No, there's not a single. The great thing about BioWare is that they did it, but they
They're
weren't
fluid.
afraid to not do it too.
They had characters at work. characters that
like
weren't.
when Vega comes up to Shepard's cabin and they're talking about some important thing, and Vega's like, well, you've gone soft. This is too comfortable for me. And Shepard goes, bed's a lot harder than it looks. And Vega's like, I'll take your word for it.
That was so great.
Yeah, that was a great line. I'll take your word for it. I'm out of here. I don't gain no weight. And that was cool. And they had guts to do that. And here it's just like, I mean, it's okay if somebody comes on to you, you're like, I'm not gay.
Yeah. No thanks.
But in space, everybody's gay.
Yeah.
In the future, everybody's gay. Every single
I
person.
think all games are going to start. This is just
there were
concept for all.
Bi characters in Mass Effect 3, I think. Ones that could go either way, but it wasn't everybody.
Yeah.
Wasn't everybody.
Right.
Miranda wasn't.
Right.
Jack wasn't. Jack was.
Jack was. Yeah.
Now Cyberpunk had
Vega wasn't.
straight. Well, they had gay characters that would just be gay. So like
Straight
if you
gay.
were not the female
Exactly.
V, you couldn't hook up with the one chick.
Right.
There was no option, and it's like, now wait a minute.
And the most interesting option is not an option.
Who was that?
Vicky, was it? You couldn't romance her at all.
You couldn't. No.
With either character.
Excuse me. Everybody in that game went after Pan Am.
Did they?
Oh yeah,
probably.
Yeah,
well,
Pan
you
Am.
did like.
But that was only a straight thing. You had to be straight, didn't you?
Yes, she
Yeah.
would not.
And
go
I think people
after
had issue with
if
that.
you were a
Norm-
female V, which was surprising because that was that game studio was a little,
That was a woke
they were a
game.
little-
Yeah.
But Mass Effect 3, you had, when you were in Normandy, you had a girl to stand beside you who took all your messages and all that stuff, and she was gay, but you could not.
That's right. You couldn't, could you?
You couldn't.
Yeah.
No,
I think they
there's a
modded
funny
that in.
scene where she's in there and she's like taking a bath and stuff. She's like, "Can you bring this to me?" And Shepard's like, "Oh my gosh," because she's in there taking a bath, but he knows he's gay.
Yeah. He's like, there's nothing I can do about it.
And she's like, "My eyes are up here and over here."
You're making me want to go back and play Mass Effect again.
Oh, my
Gosh.
You
And
bought it.
They just
I
don't have
know.
those characters in this, but I see what they're building. Building spaceships, building these things.
That looks.
That's
like,
fun.
I would be into that.
I just built mine today. It's fun.
Yeah, I would be into.
I mean,
that.
yeah,
So
last night.
we approached this 3 different ways. You approached it with, this is the only game you're going to play until it's the only game you played in a couple months.
Yeah, right,
I have only played it when I had time,
right.
and I get completely overwhelmed with it because of that. It's
And
like the game does
well,
not introduce you to
It doesn't hold
mechanics
your hand on
at
anything.
all.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It doesn't do anything. And it's like, and that kind of discouraged me, burnt me out. And I spent 15 minutes playing with you by my side the other day and was like, oh, do this, this, and this. And you caught me up for hours, and it's just
Right.
the game didn't do that well. And I don't normally need my handheld, but there's a lot in this game.
There's a lot of, you said, you and I played the same amount of time, and I was like 50 levels ahead of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I know where to go and what to do and not
Yeah.
what to do.
And I get distracted.
Right. But, they've got this, where did these artifacts come from? That's going to be a DLC.
Yeah.
They just got all these things.
That reminds me a lot of Destiny, though. Like when Destiny 1 comes out, it's like, here's this traveler, but we don't know why
you're
it's
talking
here or
dirty.
anything.
Don't do that.
There's nothing to like, no.
But I
Even
mean,
a
is that
little
the
bit
same
of-
concept where we're like, here's these things, but we don't know why they're here, and you don't know why you're after them.
But they've got the answer to that.
I challenge you. Look
But
up the
where is
Traveler
it? Do
now
you get
and
the
see what
answer in
he's
the
up
game?
to.
Huh?
Do you get the answer in the game?
But this is just the very beginning of the game, though.
It's a fully
I
released game.
I see it differently. I see it as the beginning.
Oh, see, I can't do that.
I see it as.
And,
I
see,
see it-
and you're the third approach. You've not played it at all because
No.
for you there's not enough there.
No, I want a full.
I say
game
there's too
when I buy a
much
game.
there, and you say you want more before you buy it.
I want all the story.
I see it as chapter 1.
Now, if you want to complete the story and give me something else, or say with Mass Effect, we're going to bring this out in 3 parts. I'm fine with that. But the way they talked it up was not like that.
Right. I get
you know
that.
what I mean? That's what burns
Oh,
me.
when you play it and you finish it, you're like, this is not it. This is not it at all because there's so many unanswered questions.
Which I'm fine with. They just come out front and say,
Oh my
it's not over. Uh-oh.
He just ruined a plot line for me, but he says the Horizon Zero Dawn DLC makes Aloy gay.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does.
What?
Yeah.
Ruining A wonderful character, he
What?
says. I didn't know that.
Are you
but
serious?
That's what he said, yeah.
Is that the new one? See, I haven't played the new one. I don't have PS5.
But you guys know how I feel about it. Horizon Zero Dawn is
Was a great game.
fantastic game.
Yeah.
Fantastic game.
It's the only reason I have a PS4. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a great, great game.
Yeah, it was.
And I didn't play the second one because I knew,
Really?
yeah, it came out. It's just like they
Why?
can't
Like,
stop.
why did that matter? Why did it matter?
Because that option has to be there for everybody.
Because they get, I'm serious, guys, you've heard me talk about this. They get a score. They get a score from people who watch this stuff.
Oh, my God.
And they have to put that stuff in there
Mm-hmm.
so that they just don't get their building firebombed by a bunch of crazy
you're
people.
Right. Yeah.
They have to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And
I-
this game is woke as
I will eventually.
I didn't
buy
think
this
it was that
game.
bad in that
It's
regard.
actually not, because I noticed last night, because I'm doing the I'm going back again and doing the Vanguard quest. And they'll get
That's
up there
where I'm at.
and they'll say stuff like "yes, ma'am," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, really?
Mhm.
How did you
Yeah.
assumed her gender?"
Yeah. How dare you?
I think like the propaganda, the marketing for this game was very woke after its release. I've asked a lot of people because it's free on Game Pass, right? Everybody can play it. I've asked a lot of people if they tried it. They're like, "No, I hear that's real woke," and I'm like, "I played the game for
it's not
20 or 30 hours, and it just didn't seem like that to me."
It's not. It's subtle, but it's not pushed on you. It's subtle.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder what the.
But I mean, but to me, there are certain aspects of it. Like I do a lot of the shipbuilding. I really get into that,
See what,
Right.
and because my ship right there, you see that ship right there, mine fills up the entire screen.
Yeah.
That's why
I
your
just
Xbox
I love that.
overheats.
It is why your Xbox is always needing to restart.
I know. But they're just certain aspects, and I like the exploring. I'm right now. I'm not even halfway through the story, because I like going to planets, and I'll find something interesting and just go there. And that to me, that's a big deal. But they do have a problem, and I get it. There's 1,700 planets. They can't just make every building distinct. And so, but my goodness, I can go into a building now, and I can clear it in 5 minutes because I know exactly where to go, and I know where the loot is, and I know where the magazine is. I know exactly what to do because I've done it 15 times. And they could change that up a little bit, but
Yeah. See, it's not doing good on Steam right now.
well, something happened. I don't trust that because when it came out, it was 7.
Well, but
and
here's
then all
the
of a sudden
thing.
there was this movement.
Because a lot of people started getting it, a lot of people started buying it, and you can watch the buy streak with the reviews.
Right.
And like I said, it's
I'm
just
not a Starfield fanboy. I just think we do a disservice to it because they're going to quit making all these freaking games
You're
if we
right.
don't shut
They will.
up.
Yep.
but
That's
Because
That's it.
we're
Yeah.
so demanding and we're so entitled and we're so spoiled.
but there's also the inverse effect.
If
of that.
Skyrim came out now, they'd bitch about it.
Yep.
We did. We 100% did when it came out because it was broken.
No,
It was
not like we would.
terrible.
Not like we would
But
today.
here's the
Not
thing.
like we would today.
But here's the thing: if you don't complain about it, you will get broken games.
Well, yes.
I don't
So
know.
if you just shut up and Cyberpunk came out and everybody said, "This is the greatest game we've ever seen," it doesn't run well, but it's still a great game. They've been like, "All right,"
well,
and they would just
no,
let
hold
you
on, hold
have
on.
it.
Let's just
But they turn around and they eventually fixed
And
it
No
because
Man's Sky.
people lost their mind on it.
No
But
Man's
here's
Sky is
the
another
thing.
example.
Here's the thing. When did you enjoy games the most?
Back when they were on cartridges.
Yes.
And I didn't have
Back
to
when,
update them
back
all
when the
time.
creator made the game they wanted to make, and
Yes.
you played it whether you liked it or not. And now that we get this voice and this complaint system, we don't like anything they make. That's our own doing.
But my problem is, yes, if you don't like a choice they made in the game, absolutely, that's something that's up to the creator.
Mass Effect 3, we're talking to you.
But
Yeah.
drop it, yeah, exactly.
But Bioware was like, the game's done. There's nothing we can do.
Exactly. I don't have a problem with that.
And I was
My
fine with it. It
problem
wasn't my
is
game.
Right.
Them releasing broken games or releasing games that they've hyped up and said all this stuff is in, and then they're like, well, it'll be in the DLC. We'll drip feed it to you. That's my issue.
But I think I look at Starfield like I did No Man's Sky, which was not a good game when it
Oh,
was
no,
released.
No Man's Sky was terrible.
Okay, but it got better.
A year
did.
later, it was great.
And
year?
Bethesda had shown a little history of
Was a
Well, it took
year.
longer than a year.
It
We
took
played
longer
it
than
at a year.
But No
We
Man's Sky is
enjoyed
a
it at
good
a
game
year.
now.
Was it a year?
Yeah.
No Man's Sky is a really good game now.
Mm-hmm.
And Starfield will get there eventually Bethesda's got too much into it. Let it die. It's
Yeah.
not going to be Anthem. Please don't let it be Anthem.
And there's a perfect example. Anthem.
Outriders.
Man, that Anthem,
It
Outriders.
got better.
They
It
got
better.
man, they got pumped up like they were going to be the greatest thing ever. And then 20 hours in the game, you're like,
Ain't nothing to do.
well, this sucks.
Well, but that's because
What do you
it was
mean Outriders?
Bioware doing it. Bioware was doing it.
But if
Bioware
we
couldn't
wouldn't have
miss.
said
Dragon
anything-
Age. Dragon Age is one of the best games that's out.
But like, if we wouldn't have said anything, like, oh, well, this game sucks. Like, you've got to voice, you've got to voice
But
it.
if Anthem comes out 15, 20 years ago, it's a great game.
Yeah, because we're
Spoiled,
the
man.
expectations
spoiled.
have gone up. The budgets have
I
gone
get
up.
it, and you hadn't paid
You know how
$60.
much budgets they have for these things now? The budget for Mario Brothers was probably like $50,000. The budget for Starfield's billions or millions or whatever.
Well,
it
and,
is,
and that's
you
not
know?
the only thing. It's that the game industry got really big the last 15 years. Really big, where these games have boards now and backers
They
and
have to.
and financiers, and they control when the game comes out,
Right.
what kind of revenue it needs to make.
Well, and that's why Cyberpunk
yeah,
failed as
exactly.
miserably as it did because they
Exactly.
pushed it out before it was ready.
That's
Yeah.
why I don't bash on games because I'm just kind of like, I don't want them to get to the point where they quit making them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's such a community that just nags and nags and
Yep.
nags. It's like
They never like anything.
Starfield. Okay, it's not perfect, but like I said, I think it's just the beginning.
But that's the thing.
I mean, if you got 10 years into a game, you're not just going to put one
you
out.
need
and
to have
that's it.
honest reviews about it, though.
You do.
Like you said, okay, it's a 7 out of 10. Okay, that's fine. But the problem is you either see 10 out of 10 or 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go into the game and give an honest opinion. So where
Right.
now they can fix the problems. You know what I'm saying?
I just enjoy it. What happened was is that people got into it and they wanted to play a linear story and they wanted to get through it. And that's not the way I think the game is meant to be played. It's
I'm about to say, I've never seen a Bethesda game like that.
but it's exploration, and some stuff I showed him the other night that he didn't know that made the game a whole lot more fun. Because you could travel without going to cutscenes and you could do all that stuff, but they don't tell you how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's a work in progress, which it shouldn't.
Look,
It shouldn't.
IGN
be.
gave it a 7. IGN's woke though. And biased.
It shouldn't be, but at the same time, I see the vision of what they're trying to do. To them, it's a 15-year game.
and that's fine if they released it like that. So Baldur's Gate was out on PC. Baldur's Gate 3 was out on PC like 2 years ago
Yeah.
in a beta form. Here, you can pay the full price for this game, but we're going to let you know right now, it's not finished.
Right.
But they took the people's opinions of what they said and made the game better off of it. Like,
Yeah.
so why can't people I know Bethesda's big budget and they got to have these AAA releases and all this stuff.
Right.
They could have done the same thing. They could have said, listen, here's Starfield. It's not done. It's got issues, but play it. Give us your feedback. We want to know.
But do you really want a game that's been shaped and molded by a bunch of libs?
No, I want a game that's shaped and molded by the gamers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the people that play this game,
A lot of
we
liberal
know the
gamers
best.
right now.
You know?
A lot
Or
of
you could
liberal
just be
gamers
like
right now.
Bungie and just not give a flying flip. What's your
That's true.
people
Just
think?
hey, we're gonna
Because
take
we
this,
know you'll buy it anyway.
we're gonna take this planet away from you, and then in 6 months we're gonna sell it back to you.
And you can buy the deal. You can buy the expansion, and then you have to buy an extra dungeon key to get into the dungeon that's in the expansion. And JR just like,
I have never bought a dungeon
Take
key.
my money.
take my money,
I
please.
did talk to Garth about it the other night. They
I'm a
jumped in.
Destiny whore. Here,
They jumped into the new dungeon the moment it came out. They were all excited about it. They had their dungeon keys. The Garth and the other guys over there.
They bought them.
Yeah, they're full on to Destiny still.
Garth, come on, bud.
Garth.
He's not happy.
You're better.
He's
than
not watching.
that.
He's not happy with the community or the developers at this point, but he probably bought that dungeon key a year ago.
Well, I mean, it's just like people hated on Diablo 4.
Right.
I play Diablo 4. I personally like it, but I get where they're coming from when you have no customization in the game, basically.
Mhm.
So all of your cosmetics in the game, they suck. I don't care if you're level 100 with the best gear, your cosmetics suck.
Yeah.
The only way to buy better cosmetics
Are you serious?
is $20+ an outfit.
I'm glad I didn't play Diablo 4.
$20+ an outfit. So people are
Pay to
raging
win.
on the game, and they should. because that's ridiculous.
Destiny is the same way. I mean, outfits
Now,
cost
it's not a
how much,
pay to
$5,
win.
$6.
It's not a pay to win.
You're not
which
getting
I'll give 'em
outfits. You're
credit
just getting
for, but
shaders and transmog stuff. Like you can make
Right.
the armor. Yeah.
They had
Ornaments.
a $60 horse. A $60 horse skin.
Elder Scrolls went that way too, though. Online was like that.
As long as it's skins, I don't care. I
Yeah,
don't
but
care.
I still do to a degree because it's like, okay, we're going to make all the stuff in the game look like crap, and we're going to make these skins look really awesome.
Yeah.
So, like, you're level 100, you look like crap, but this level 2 over here, the
yeah, and if it's
$60
free,
looks way
if
cooler
it's,
than you.
It's
like,
free to play. If it's like Warframe,
I don't mind that.
I don't mind that.
Yes.
If it's free to play.
Mm-hmm.
And Warframe is free to play all the way through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But they do sell stuff.
But you could buy entire chassis or whatever they call them. In
yeah,
there.
and that's fine. Destiny says they're free to play. If you want to play like one planet,
Yeah, if you, like the first 20
and get
minutes.
one gun, that's it.
This person somehow knows that Garth is Irish. Says the Irish getting suckered by the gaming companies.
They must be. Like, they're all in it.
They're about to elect
all-
Conor McGregor as the prime minister or whatever, for president, which would be fantastic, by the way.
Here's the thing I have to constantly tell myself about video games because I play games you guys don't like. Like I spend hours. I spend dozens of hours a week.
Forza is the same game every time. Go ahead.
It's not.
It is. You can't do Laguna Seca different. It's the same track.
I mean,
All right, I can't. I'll have to defend that in an entirely different video. But and as somebody that casually plays the game with a controller, maybe, but taking advantage of feedback and physics, it's not the same game.
All right.
I did not care for Forza 7, but that was my personal opinion.
7. That's
Or whichever one just came out. I
okay.
don't know.
Okay. Here's back to it.
He's like, no.
But
No.
we can talk about Forza at a different time because it's a pretty popular topic on YouTube right now. A lot of people don't like it. But I have to constantly tell myself this because I play games with you and I play games you guys don't like. I spend dozens of hours a week racing in circles. You guys don't get it, right? I have
get
to
it, I just
always
don't do it.
I have to always remind
I
myself
don't get it.
that my enjoyment of a game can't be based on somebody else's enjoyment of the game.
Right.
Yes.
So when Mike says he hates Starfield
why I
and don't
don't-
want to play it, you're having a great time. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the problem
I always
is
do the opposite
when
of
we
what he
let
says.
community shape what we think about something.
Oh, I agree.
And some of that happens with you sometimes because you will look at reviews or you say so and so says this about it.
Oh, that's true.
And I'm not calling
No,
you out,
I
but
will.
the community does it.
Yeah.
And I do it too. And it's a shame. I have to tell myself if
But-
I enjoy this game, I enjoy this
But
game.
most of the time, I agree with the community
Right. And that's fine.
because I agree. Once again,
But has there ever been a case where the community convinced you not to play a game and you missed out on it?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, the
That's
community
right.
the community convinced us to not play No Man's Sky at the beginning.
Yeah.
It was broken, but they made the
They-
conviction.
they didn't convince me, but I really didn't like their pushback against Andromeda.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
okay,
Right.
just
I
for one
enjoyed
second,
Andromeda.
think about when we were playing Anthem, having a blast playing Anthem.
it was fun.
Did we hate it because, seriously,
No.
did we hate it because it was a bad game or did we hate it because everybody else hated it?
No. We hated Anthem because there was nothing to do
was
after
no-
the
The
first
end game
20
was bad.
hours.
Yeah,
There was
once
nothing
we
to do.
got done, it was done.
Except Mike got in there in the spam weekend
got in
and
the
got
spam
better
week-
stuff than us.
Yeah, that made me
I was like the highest level in the game you could possibly be, just by random
And
accident.
the same thing happened. You said Outriders got better, but the same thing happened with Outriders. We played it for
no end
two,
game.
2 or 3 weeks. And there was
Oh,
nothing
see,
to do.
Outriders.
But
was-
we're all about the end game now
Yeah.
instead of just saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, that was a good game."
Because when we invest money and time into something, we don't want it to end in 20 hours. We want to play it for months.
Well, especially if it's multiplayer. If it's multiplaer
Or cooperative,
you want you want something to do at the end to keep grinding. You want that grind at the end. The
Why is
game,
Wildlands so much better than Breakpoint?
the
then?
game you love to play. What's
I like Breakpoint.
No.
Division 2.
Division 2?
Yeah.
There was a grind in that.
Yes,
Yeah.
there is.
But that's what made it worth going back and playing because
Yes,
it's like
it
there's
did.
always something there I can get. Even though you're doing the same thing over and over and over.
That's
Right.
why people play Destiny. They've
There's-
been falling for it for a
There's a
decade.
grind there.
But the difference with it, like Division 2, is like it was like Paragon, like with Diablo 3.
Yeah. Yep.
Every time you leveled up, you got a
So
little
you
bit better.
got something for it.
You
Wasn't
got
much,
something for it, not
but
much,
you got something for it.
but you got a little bit better, and so that's awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You weren't going for a so, and then you could play higher levels of stuff
Mm-hmm.
and get better gear.
And that's one thing that irked me about Destiny so much is now they, every 3 months or 4 months, they reset your level.
Yes.
Like you
What's
earn.
the purpose?
So
like you get up to a
Yeah.
it's power rating now. It's not light rating, and then that gets you into the higher level nightfalls and stuff like that. And then 3 months later, they're like, "Now start over."
well, so Diablo does seasons.
Yeah,
Right.
So
that's what Destiny does.
So I'm playing the season right now. Okay, you get to a level 100 in the season. Now, when the season's over, you can keep your level, but it goes to the eternal realm. So you go to the normal base version of the game. When the new season content comes out, you have to start a new character. I'm going to be done. I'm not going to play another. I'm not going to re-level
Holy
a
cow.
character just to play the season content.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I don't
Right.
have that much time to sit around and grind a Diablo character for 200 hours just to get him up to level 100 for a season
Yeah.
for it to be wiped. So I have to do it again. That's where my complaint is. It's like, let me play my character through all the seasons,
Yes.
and don't make it competitive.
Division
or
2
whatever.
lets you do that. You could just play. You could play.
You
your
never got
character.
reset in Division 2.
They
No,
never had
yeah,
reset.
you always got to keep your stuff, and I think that's what
There would be a
made
new
it-
DLC come out. You go to a new part and
Yeah.
go back to New York City or something like that.
But
it
that's
would
the
never
way
be.
it should be.
That's
Like,
the way it should be.
gosh, that was great.
The cool thing about, and if you're playing Starfield and you're not in a new game plus, my advice to you is to blow through the story, get your levels, and then do new game plus with Starborn, because you keep everything, and you keep. That's cool. Problem is, you lose your ship, you lose your money, you lose your materials, but you keep your skill points. And so when you go into the new game plus,
You're buff.
now you're OP,
Yeah.
and you can go.
But you
up.
got to replay the story again, and you've lost all the gear. I don't know. I don't ever play New Game Plus in any
Oh.
game.
I play Elden Ring, new game plus 3 times.
New game plus one
Right.
time. That's all I'm going to do. New game plus one time, and Starborn is worth. Starborn is worth it.
Is that what you're doing right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you get new dialogue options and things like the whole interaction of everybody with you is different now, and even some missions that you had to do the first playthrough you don't even do now, or you'll just cut to and say, "I know how this ends," and then we don't do it, and so it's so much better. Because at first part, when you first get, you're trying to grind up your ship and you're trying to grind up your armor and all that stuff, and you get into the second playthrough, you're like, I'm already there. I can fly all the Class C ships, and so I like it. I think it's a 7.
I
think
will
it's
say
gonna
this:
get
you
better.
leveled up my ship good the other night because the Warlock was running his mouth last night. And he lasted about 4 seconds.
Yes. The Obliterator projectors. Yes.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. All right, that's it.
So
I'm
what I
done.
learned
I
is,
gotta go home and eat. I'm starving.
what I learned is go back and play Skyrim.